I always tell my friends, like, don't just forward stuff because it's so easy now. It's a click and you can send it to a whole mass of people. But what's happening is people take a piece of disinformation and they spread it, and then people start sending it around, and then people say, well, it must be true because, 10,000 people have looked at it and commented on it. But you go back and say, where's the evidence here? Where's the actual fact? Like, where's the hard evidence that this actually happened? It's not there, but it's being propagated and pushed and it's emotional. I get it. I see this stuff sometimes too. I read it and my first response is I want to, oh, I'm angry about this, or how dare they do this? But then when you dig into it, it's actually, there's nothing there. And going back to the piece on education, growing up in the United States, certain parts of history were taught one way. And then when I went overseas and I started studying, for example, the history of one issue from the point of view of the people of that country, it was completely different than the way it was taught in the United States. And there's a reason why it was taught a certain way in the United States, because of the influence of propaganda. And this goes back to the 1800s. And propaganda, by the way, the Russians aren't the only people that do propaganda. Other empires use propaganda very effectively. And I started to look and say, okay, actually, this issue, when you see it from the historic perspective of the people that I thought were evil, is actually completely different. And it's too bad most Americans don't see this. Like they're not taught this side of the story, because it's completely different than what has been promoted. And some of what was promoted is based on disinformation that was used by one empire to weaken another empire, so that they could take parts of that empire and put it in their empire. It's been going on forever. Disinformation is nothing new. It goes back to biblical times.
That's true. And I also like your point that you said